Hello, everyone. Welcome to this exciting episode of the It Depends podcast because it is live. I am right here in Las Vegas at Google Cloud Next 2026. My guest today is distinguished. And when I say distinguished, is because I asked him how many patents he has, and he said, after 100, I stopped counting. 22 years at Oracle working on the database kernel, building the Exadata, and so many other innovations. And since 2018, he has been at Google Cloud. He's a VP of engineering of operation databases. And it is my pleasure to have Amit Ganesh join us today on this episode. With that, Amit, welcome to this episode.
Thank you so much, and it's a real honor to be here with you. And you are very kind with your introductions, but these are very interesting times, and we have come a long ways in databases, but it almost feels like a new beginning.
It is new, yes. So why don't we just jump straight in? If I go through my list of questions, we will be here for about 2 hours, but we have only 15, 20 minutes. So since you mentioned that it feels like new beginning, uh, is AI a feature of a database, or is it fundamentally transforming how we think about databases?
Actually, that's a really great question. And I'm being in the industry for 30 years. I feel that this is a very humbling moment for us because although we feel like we have done a lot of innovations over
Yeah.
the history of databases, um, in the last 50 years, this is probably the first time databases are at a real inflection point. The power of AI is really transforming what databases can do. And our customers are really racing to take advantage of it.
Yeah. It used to be we had databases, then we went through the whole ERP era, then we went through, so from application, then we went into the user interface, React front ends. But now AI is sitting right on top of data.
Yes.
So all of a sudden, these, and especially operational databases, because you have
Yes.
real time, mission
Correct.
critical, bread and butter
Yes.
data of an organization. So it has been exposed to such a high level. I remember in my Gartner days, we used to say there's operation database, and then we used to go into a very elaborate ETL,
Yes.
ELT,
Yes.
uh, data transformation, and then BI and all of that. And we kind of forgot about operational databases.
Yes. Yes. And you can't do that anymore because agents need data.
Yes,
Data is the fuel
correct.
for AI, right? And
Right,
agents are not going to wait until your byte comes from an operational database
right,
down to a warehouse in 3 hours, right?
right.
Agents are accurate and effective only if they have the latest real time state of your business,
Right.
right? So it really needs a fundamentally new approach of how you build and operate databases and
Right.
data estates really in the agentic era.
So let me ask you this. I hear a lot of buzzwords: AI ready database, native AI database. What makes a
A database AI
database
native.
AI native?
Yeah, this is a great question. Thanks for actually asking that question. Um, I mean, the thing that is unique about databases is that they're the place where you get compute along with storage, right? So you're
Yeah.
not only storing data, but there is the computational power of like what a SQL query, for example, gives you is really what made databases the way they are today, right? But what we have done at Google, and more recently with what we have launched with the Agentic Data Cloud, is we have taken at Google a unique approach. We have combined our state of the art AI stack and combined that with our industry leading data stack to really create a unified agentic data platform, one that is differentiated virtually in every layer of the stack, from TPUs all the way to agent frameworks. But then you might say, okay, so what is it that really is
Yeah.
distinguishing with like
Yeah.
such a fusion? Like, what do you get out of it? And you get some amazing things. To give you an example, now in a single SQL statement, you can not only do queries against structured data like columns and rows and things like
Yeah.
that, but you could actually even do an inference. So if you do AI.forecast, that will actually automatically, you will not get to see it, that single SQL statement will both run on a CPU and a TPU
Oh, wow.
to do predictive inferencing
I see.
and return queries through SQL as usual.
Oh,
So we're
wow.
really bringing the full power of the latest cutting edge models into SQL by building them in and integrating them in our full stack, including TPUs.
Wow. So can I now write a sequel where I say, show me the list of my top customers and do sentiment analysis on what they've been tweeting?
That's a great question.
Okay.
We have not yet announced this, but
I
we will
see.
soon be releasing a new sentiment operator
I
in
see.
SQL,
Oh, wow. Okay.
where you would be able to, I don't know what the syntax would look like, but
Yeah.
you'd be able to do something like select from a table,
Yeah.
etc., where AI.sentiment
Hmm.
and your column name
Yeah.
is good or is a
Right.
numeric quantity or something like that.
Right.
It's quite incredible because when you do that, it will actually invoke perhaps a Gemini LLM
Yeah.
to evaluate against the row of data that you have
All in single unified SQL query in near real time.
in single SQL statement
Yeah.
in real time
I see.
with no integration overhead for you to
Oh,
do.
wow.
Fully complete. That's what I meant by
Yes.
having the AI stack and the data stack
Right.
all
All
merged
in
together.
one place.
Yes, in fact, we already have, although we don't have the sentiment operator,
Yeah.
we actually have the AI.if operator.
I see.
So imagine if stands for a predicate. So you
Yeah.
can write natural language in an
Right.
English sentence today
Right.
saying, does this column have a positive sentiment?
Right.
And you can just say select AI.if, that piece of text against your table, and lo
Right.
behold, you
Yeah.
have AI and SQL all in a
Yeah.
single SQL statement.
I haven't shared this piece with anyone, so you're the first one. I have a new passion, which is reinforcement learning.
Yes.
And I feel that we talk about harness engineering, all of these new concepts are coming up, but for me to make sure that my text or natural language to SQL is correct, I feel there's a lot of reinforcement learning that should go behind the scenes. So the question I have for you is, we are talking about the SQL piece, but we also know that a lot of front end querying is moving from humans to agents.
Agents.
So when
Yes.
agents are querying, uh, I can have the same text return me two different sequels because it's probabilistic.
Yes.
How are you ensuring uh, uh, that there's no ambiguity, hallucinations are not there, and
Yes.
reliability is high? How do you do
That's a
that?
lot to unpack. So let me, but I'm so glad that you asked me this question. So, firstly, I think you're spot on that natural language is really the language of agents.
Yeah,
And because it's the language of agents, it's the language of data.
yeah,
So, just like SQL has been the
yeah.
language of data, natural language becomes the new language of data. And so, natural language to SQL becomes a really important technology problem that we need to solve for.
Got it.
I'm really
Okay.
happy to share with you that together with a close collaboration with Google DeepMind,
Yeah.
Google is at the very forefront of it. So there is actually an industry standard benchmark called BIRD,
Yeah,
and there's a leaderboard for it. And if you go look at the single model benchmark result, Google today has the number one spot
I see.
in
Oh,
natural language to SQL. So we are
I see.
really at the forefront of this technology because we know that in order to earn the trust of our
Yes.
customers, you
Yep.
have to have the highest accuracy for natural language responses. Now, to your question, like what are other tech? So there are lots of reinforcement learning, and SFT is actually a technique that we are
Yep.
using to get really high
Supervised
accuracy,
fine tuning.
fine tuning.
Yep.
But we also very fortunate that the Gemini models are just incredibly good at this stuff.
Yeah.
So, but then the models can only take you so far.
Yeah.
In order to be accurate, you need to truly understand the semantic meaning
Yes.
and the semantic understanding that your enterprise has.
Right.
And for that, at this Google Cloud, we have launched the knowledge catalog, which serves as the semantic repository, which keeps the meaning of data, tables, schemas in a centralized place so agents can refer to it to be able to give you really accurate responses.
Got it. One thing I like about knowledge catalog, correct me if I'm wrong because I'm just learning this, is it's real time. So if
Yes.
the schema changes or
Yes.
there's some other changes, like instantly knowledge catalog will have the updated
You are
semantic.
absolutely right.
I
In fact,
see.
a new database props up in your enterprise.
Right.
That database automatically gets registered with the
Right.
knowledge catalog. If you do alter table, you change the schema
I
of
see.
a
Okay.
table in any
Yeah.
one of those databases.
Right.
We do a real-time sync with the knowledge
Right.
catalog, so you always have the up-to-date like nerve center
Right.
of meta information for your agents to refer to. Now,
Got
one
it.
interesting thing that takes you beyond even that from an accuracy point of view is we are enabling customers to curate the knowledge catalog with business logic that they may provide themselves.
Yep.
So,
So
if,
metrics, definitions, KPIs.
and even join paths. So
Oh,
you may
I
say
see.
table
Okay.
1, table 2, table 3. If you join it using these keys,
Right.
that's the best way to get aggregation of
Right.
sales data.
Right.
That becomes a rule
Right.
that goes into the knowledge
Right.
catalog, so all future natural language queries can utilize it to get really accurate results. We call this technology part of our conversational agent,
I see.
data agent platform.
Oh, very interesting. I have I have this nagging feeling. Why do I need to define primary key, foreign key relations? If LLMs are so good at similarity search and detecting, inferring relationships, would I even end up in a world where I'm not doing ERD diagrams anymore? Like, third normal form.
Yes.
I have raw data coming in, and then the LLM is able to find the context. Do you see that happening? Like, that's a major thing to even imagine that there's no world of data modeling. We are letting LLMs model it for us.
Yes, actually, that's a really interesting question. We don't know how the future is going to evolve, and it's hard to predict. But there is certainly one truth there, which is LLMs are really great when you give them structure, but they're also really great at inferring structure, right? So if you give it a
Yes.
CSV, it's
Yeah.
going to tell you what the schema should probably look like.
Right, exactly.
Indeed.
Yeah. So when I say these things to a purist, a database purist, they literally have aneurysm, and they go, "Wait, what do you mean? Like no data modeling?" And but I think eventually we'll get there because if we look at data quality, we've been trying to solve data quality for as long as we've been managing data, decades, and we have failed at it. So now we have to rethink. So.
Indeed, I think there's a whole new amount of innovation that's going to come
Yeah.
in that space.
So your 125th patent should be on data modeling or no data modeling.
I will
So-
go talk to my team about it. I'm sure they have an
Okay.
opinion.
So moving on. Alloy DB, Cloud SQL, Spanner, 3 amazing products, all relational. They all support open source in some way, like at the API level or pure. Alloy DB is very interesting because you've changed the storage layer to make it highly optimized. How are you optimizing vector storage and indexing?
So this again goes back to this idea that AI native databases, right, is where we want to bring the best of AI technology
Yeah.
into our data products,
Correct.
right? And so if you look at vector search, for example, what
Yeah.
we have done there is Google actually has, of course, many decades of research in this field.
Yeah.
So when you go to google.com or even you go to see recommendations on YouTube, those recommendations are powered by a vector search engine that is present and is used by these Google's billion user properties. We have taken, through close collaboration with Google Research, we actually taken that same engine
I see.
and built it into Alloy DB.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that's the reason why when you see customers like Target, for example,
Yeah.
get huge improvements when
Right.
they make use of Alloy DB's vector search capability, it's
Yeah.
because they're utilizing the same underlying technology.
I see.
And that is kind of our overall strategy, where we are building really great tech together with Google DeepMind and Google Research,
I see.
that we are bringing them to customers through our AI platforms in cloud.
If I go to target.com
Yes.
or Target, as some people like to say, and I do a search for a product, is it using Alloy DB hybrid search behind
Yes,
this? Oh,
every
really?
single one of them. And
Every single one.
in fact, it's doing structured queries
Yeah.
and vector search queries
I see.
and combining the results all in Alloy DB to surface the
Oh,
the
wow.
data.
I see. I saw a blog that said in this new architecture, Target has improved their
The
relevance,
relevance, yes.
product relevance by 20%.
20% is a huge number.
Oh, really?
And,
Oh, wow.
So
Okay.
those are some of the huge gains that you can see.
Right.
we have virtually every major retailer making use of our tech in AlloyDB, for example, to help to bring AI to the whole search space,
I
and
see.
that's very exciting.
Is there, can I say, here is an image and match this image to similar products? Is that,
Yes, absolutely. You can do that today with AlloyDB,
I see,
where an
okay.
image that gets converted into what we call embeddings,
Embeddings,
they are
correct?
essentially the internal representation
Right,
of a neural network
right,
for that image,
right,
get compared using vector search
right.
against all the product images you have.
Yeah,
And that's one way to find, you take a picture of a shoe and like, hey, I want a shoe like that, but I don't know what brand it is. And like just
yeah.
do vector search and it's very powerful.
Oh, wow. I also, so talking about customer examples, so Target is amazing. I recently accidentally came across a blog you'd written for Manhattan Associates.
Yes.
So let's end up on that note. So what is Manhattan Associates? Who are they and what are they using? So,
So Manhattan Associates is one of the world's leading SaaS provider that does supply chain automation, that does point of sale service counters, etc. So they are in that space of retail, and they are a big user of Google Cloud, obviously, but
okay.
they've also been at the forefront of innovation in the agentic era. So the experiences that typically users of such software have are in a user interface, a graphical user interface that's on a screen. But imagine I'm a person working in a shop floor
Yeah,
and I want to ask a question about a machine that seems to be giving me errors. Can I talk to the system and say, hey, look, here's a machine, it's giving me some errors. Can you go start an agent that's going to analyze the history of this machine, look up all the issues that have been seen previously, and provide me some recommendations of what I should do?
I see. Okay.
Their SaaS service is evolving to natural language as an interface to how people use these supply chain products. And they're a true pioneer in that, and they make use of Google Cloud and our AI and data products like Cloud SQL to make that
So
reality.
they're using Cloud SQL
Cloud
Postgres
SQL for MySQL,
for
actually.
MySQL.
Yes.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
And
How
they're also
interesting.
using Postgres as well as AlloyDB
I
as
see.
part of the system.
This example that you gave of like talking to an agent and having it do kind of root cause analysis, that kind of stuff, is this in production or is it still?
Yes, they have already pushed it in production. And what's really exciting about this is, I gave you an example about a defective machine or something like that, right?
Yeah,
But because it's a reasoning-based system that's powered by LLMs,
yeah,
that is not the only example that the SaaS service can provide.
I see.
You can ask other arbitrary questions of
Yeah,
it, and it's able to answer those for you. So
got
that's
it.
really the power of agentic, that
Right,
it really unlocks the value of your data.
I see.
And in order to do that, you need really state-of-the-art AI and a state-of-the-art agentic data platform. And that's the thing that we are very excited to build for our customers and make available for them to similarly unlock value from the data.
That is fantastic. I could go on, but we are getting the signal here.
Yes.
Amber is on my case, so so I will let's end here. But looking forward to doing even a longer one
Absolutely.
and diving into
Yes.
technology. But thank you so much for coming to
Thank
this.
you for having me here. It's been a pleasure.
Likewise, thank you. Bye-bye. Thanks everyone. Until next time.